Okay. Preparing for live stream.
Oh, here we go.
And we're live from Denver, Colorado.
How's everybody doing out there?
Hi, everyone. We're on here to say hi.
Hi,
Share
baby
some
friends, new
catch
friends,
up.
old friends.
Yeah. My name's Maren. I use she, her pronouns. I am the Shift Community Training Manager, and I have with me.
Hey, y'all, I'm Nikki. I use she, her, and ella pronouns, and I am our Client Services Manager.
Yeah, and we are one part of Building Bridges. We are part of Shift, the adult programming. Building Bridges has Shift and Transform, and we're here to share some Building Bridges general announcements as well as some clarification of Shift programming and opportunities to plug in.
Yeah.
So we're here to share some announcements and reminders, name some things.
Like, how is it already February? Let's name one of that. Like, name that as one of the things.
I mean, time has really been weird the last couple years, but it just continues to get faster, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. There were some wild things happening out in the universe, and yeah, and we were feeling that here at BB, with some transitions, new year, new normal, just trying to navigate the waters.
Yeah.
But we're
Wondering
hanging
if
in there.
if y'all are feeling that too. That it feels like it's the last, I don't know, December into January was a weird little slog
Yeah.
and a weird little slowdown. And I was just telling Nikki that I feel like I sent emails out like 10 days ago to folks, and it's like it's not a slight to anyone, but like it feels like now I'm getting responses, and it just to me like highlights just like that. Yeah, we're all kind of like we're emerging out of or coming out of, whether you had COVID or whether Mercury retrograde got you or whatever, or the snow and the seasonality of like the cold and the weather. Like there was just some texture or slowness or whatever that was just really present for me.
Yeah.
At Building Bridges, for you
Yeah.
as well.
For sure. For sure. It takes form in different ways, but I think this like fogginess of not like having a hard time sort of seeing way in the future and just sort of needing to like put one foot in front of the other just to like take one step at a time to kind of work your way out of the the fogginess, the murkiness.
Yeah, and that already kind of existing as we continue to navigate a pandemic and all that means collectively and for folks individually. Like I felt foggy before, but yeah, there was a new level of it that really, like you said, it was truly just a, a millimeter. Like
Yeah.
if I can just get this email or just this thought through or this thing scheduled.
And I think that was something that was helpful for you and I, yeah, that we were able to have conversations about what we were experiencing, what we were feeling, and then kind of giving ourselves permission to just be exactly where we were, not needing to feel like more productive, more this, more that, just sort of being easy. And so if you're somebody out there who maybe is experiencing that or has experienced that, or maybe one day might experience that, like give yourself permission to slow down, like listen to your body. If you have a trusted person in your life that you can like offboard some of those feelings, share some of those feelings, and just give yourself permission to just do the next thing and like let productivity be this like concept that is, you know, out there but doesn't necessarily need to like invade your space.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like there's always urgency that we're up against, right? And I think at Building Bridges, we are trying to always be mindful and intentionally navigating that within each other and with the organization, but also like offering that and supporting clients in that of like, this is slow work. This is one step at a time work. And I just like that that felt like there was just no other option for January. Yeah. Like, and I think I was having a hard time with that too. Like, it's a new year and I want people to know about our community trainings. And I thought we'd have so many more registrations and like things set up and going. And it just, as much as I wanted it to happen faster or sooner, like there was just, it just wasn't going to happen. It just, so much surrender to, this feels like it's not just me. It's not just us. It is, and there's a collective thing happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think with that, you know, but yeah, so I think folks are like maybe still coming out of that or navigating that fogginess. And so, we are too, and we've had to make some adjustments to our plans for this year, and that's okay. Like, you know, that's what life's all about, is kind of being able to find that flexibility to not, to like meet where you are, meet your like emotional, mental, physical, spiritual capacity of just where you are.
So if y'all if that resonates, let us know in the comments. But yeah, we just wanted to come and share like that's where we're at, or like that's something that has been present for us and in our fields and our experience at Building Bridges. And there's been a lot that we've been trying to navigate and move forward in. So that's some of the reminders and announcements we want to share. But before we do that, in this moment right now, Nikki, how are you?
Like, how really am I?
Yeah, how really are a couple emotion words, like right now, not today in general, but in this moment.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty grounded right now. I think it's always helpful to be able to just name out loud, right? And to say the words out loud so they're not just up here. So I'm feeling pretty grounded right now, Maren. How about you?
Yeah, I feel for a Friday, I don't feel like completely drained or overwhelmed. So I feel like I have a little bit of like energy, especially with the sun out, and that just feels hope. I feel hopeful, and yeah, I think grounded is a good word too for it. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't always feel like that, and also
no, early January did not feel like that.
No,
but now it feels a little better. So hopefully it gets better for y'all out there too if you're in the middle of a messy time.
Yep. Permission for all of it. Permission for nuance, permission for feels, permission for stuckness, and all the things. And we're here. We're here if you need it, in whatever form. We do that, don't we?
Yeah.
That's kind of our thing.
Can you tell them about some fun dates coming up?
Yeah. So that's the thing, is we want to let you know, first of all, an official announcement for those of you, hopefully this doesn't confuse folks, but for those of you who've been with us the last year or two and have engaged with some of our community trainings, you might notice that there are some new names or like new things in the mix. So let's maybe clarify that first. So we've been doing 2-hour initial kind of our one-on-one like space that we've been calling Groundwork, where folks with white bodies are in a group together and folks bodies of color, communities of color, folks of the global majority are meeting and working with the 4Is in various ways. That has been our first kind of touchstone for folks to engage with us from the community. We have kept Groundwork as the name for white folks, and we have changed it to Confluence Care for folks of the global majority. So if you want to engage in racial equity work, you want to work on that personal before professional work, if you are wanting to engage, we have that for you as an initial space. Registration is live for every event that we have. And this year, every date is already available. So if you can't make February 17th, put it on your calendar. February 17th is our first Groundwork and our first Confluence Care of the year. If that doesn't work for you, you can still check out on our Better Your Night link and see the other 3 dates that are available for the rest of the year. So you can get it on your calendar, you can register it, and make sure that you have a spot. The thing about us at Building Bridges is we limit spots. We are very experiential. We are trying to create an intimate space where folks can dialogue, can wrestle with concepts, can really be in a, I don't know, just in that kind of way. And so we do cap it at 20, 25 folks as we're navigating online. And so there are always going to be limited spaces. So just note that.
Yeah.
And those two.
Yeah, and I would say that like so we've extended the times to 3 hours, and I think that added time, ideally what we're hoping for is really more time, is more wrestling time. It's more time to just dive deeper. I think one of the things that we were getting feedback on is that our 4Is document is a lot. It's a lot to wrestle with. And it's by no means like a one and done, like you're just going to look at it in this training and never again. Maren and I have probably gone through it ourselves a dozen or more times. And so we're hoping that extending the training in both spaces, both for white folks and for communities of color, that it's really just time to go a little bit deeper with some of those just pressing questions that come up as a natural flow of the conversation.
Yeah, like that, just that processing time, the metabolizing time, the just holding time of what is present in that. Yeah. Okay, so that's step 1. You want to work, or you want to come in as a community member and engage with our trainings, that is step 1. Step 2, after you've completed Groundwork or Confluence Care, we move into more of a cohort-based program. So it's more often, it's 8 hours instead of 3 hours, and it's separated out in different times. So our first one for white folks, Uprooted, that's going to be March 5th and 12th. It's 2 different Saturdays. Same timing for Soul Collective. Soul Collective is for communities of color, and it is formerly known as Liberated. Sorry if this is confusing. Some folks need this information. Some folks, they're like, this is new to you. That's okay. So if you go through Groundwork as a white body, then you come into Uprooted. There's an application to fill out, and it's just, again, longer in community and wrestling with more concepts, looking at white supremacy culture, looking more at like, what are our trapdoors as white folks, looking at just more in depth around that we have a racial story and race is in our lives, and how do we navigate that? If you are a community of color, person of color, then it's Confluence Care, and then into Soul Collective. What would you say more about that?
Yeah, so Soul Collective, formerly known as Liberated, is that sort of 2.0 next level space where we're really focused on community, like shared experience, shared community, diving more into the realities of our experiences and sort of like the pains of that, opening that up a little bit, but then really coming back around toward healing, right? Like, what does it mean to take care of our mental health? What does it mean to start a healing or liberation process if we're not already in that ourselves? And how do we really lean on community and each other to do that? So it's a really powerful space. And yeah, I think going through our our first level, introductory level Confluence Care training is really a great setup for that. I think it flows really well into Soul Collective. So sign up.
Sign up. Please, please, please.
Please.
Yeah, and we have created these trainings in this way because of what we've learned over time in the work that we've done with adults and working with other organizations and wrestling with offering trainings in mixed race spaces, and really seeing that these two spaces are necessary starts, that white folks really have some reckoning and some languaging and like coming together of like, we're going to own this and name it and can talk about it. And then, yeah, it sounds like just more space. What has that meant for you, Nikki? Just like place to be together, community.
Exactly that. We bring people together from all different kinds of backgrounds and experiences and professions and locations, and so when you bring together, I think, a diverse group of people in that way, and that we've all kind of come from very different experiences, and then on some levels, for certain people, very similar experiences. And so I think just being able to like open up and share in that space, even though it can be sort of like, yeah, vulnerable and emotionally like challenging to do so. We have been fortunate enough to create, to have cohorts where it's just such a like holding, I don't know, to use that word that you used earlier, just like a holding space. So yeah, it's definitely been very meaningful to be a part of these few cohorts that we have had come through this. The connection that folks leave with at the end, everyone wants to stay connected. Everyone's like, we need to exchange contact. We need to get connected on social media. We need to like, how do we resource and network with each other? So it's very much a little community by the end.
And then our third kind of main option on our community trainings menu then is Taproot, formerly known as Connect Through Conflict. So we're switching some things up, but still giving you all the same intentionality and goodness. So we've got Groundwork, Confluence Care, Uprooted, Soul Collective. Those are in a race-based affinity spaces. And then Taproot is a mixed race space. So we do want you to at least go through Groundwork or Confluence Care before you come into Taproot, just to have that base. If you can go through all three in that order, that's ideal, but it's not required. Taproot is our facilitation training. And we believe, like we name it Taproot, and we believe that it's such an essential piece, like that there are three pieces of what we're offering. Because it's one thing to consider, like, how is racism, like as a white person, how is racism in me, and how am I navigating the way that I have internalized that and what that means. It's one thing to like do that deep self-reflection, but it's another thing to then be aware of the room and the space and the group that you're in, and what does that mean. And that changes every time. So when you're in a group, what are the racial dynamics? What do you know about folks? What are you assuming about folks? How there are certain identities we see of each other and some that we don't. And how am I, one, considering the group and like how I show up when I speak, why I speak, what I speak about, but also like that I'm just have that view of the whole, of the crew, of the group, and like that I'm really thinking about that at all times, whether it's naming dynamics, like I feel some tension right now, not quite sure what that means, or wondering if we need a break. Does everyone need a 5-minute bio break? Like, how do we be in community, be in groups together? And so we believe that whether you're going to be a facilitator or not, like if you're in groups of people, you essentially are taking that role on in some regard. And so how do you consider that for the context that you're in and for the roles that you play? And especially if you're in a leadership role, what does that mean to really be in that deeper awareness of others?
Yeah, for sure. I think for a large part of folks who come through our trainings, you find yourself in situations where the skills that our workshops offer, communication skills, empathy skills, conflict transformation skills, all of these different things that we kind of touch on, more than likely you'll find yourself in one of those situations where you're going to need to really lean on those skills. And so our Taproot training is really great because it really helps to sharpen some of those noticing skills, right? When you're whether you're facilitating and leading something or you're participating in a group or in some kind of dynamic, your noticing skills are all constantly working. You're constantly observing, you're constantly like thinking about and assessing and looking. And it's one of those things that like once you start to sharpen those skills, you can't unsee things, you can't unnotice things. And so now with the Taproot training, hopefully we're equipping people to have the skills to then like, what do you do when you find yourself in that situation? Whether you're leading it, facilitating it, or participating,
or just at the grocery store,
or just sort of like standing by and sort of watching things happen. Yeah.
Okay, and so all of those, we have again 3 different steps. It's all on our website. If you go to buildingbridges.org/trainings, registration links are live for the entire year. So our first round of Confluence Care and Groundwork are in February. Our first round of Uprooted and Soul Collective are in March. If those dates and times don't work for you, there hopefully are down the road. And so please check out the links and get yourself registered, or at least schedule yourself out on the calendar. So we wanted everyone to know all of that. We hope to see lots of new faces February 17th. There are still spots for both events, I believe, a couple. Yeah. And same thing for Soul Collective and Uprooted. This will be the only Soul Collective and the only Uprooted on 2 Saturdays on a weekend. The rest of them in the year are going to be Tuesday evenings. So just keep that in mind.
And we do also recognize that like some of our prices, or all of our prices have increased, and we encourage you to try to get your organization to pay for your registration. We really believe in the power that organizations hold and the investment that they can provide in the personal and professional development of their staff. So definitely use that lever if you can, and if not, we provide scholarships as needed. So we definitely don't want cost to be a barrier for anyone to
never going to turn people away.
We'll never turn anyone away because of cost or because of. So please just communicate with us, communicate what you need in terms of support, and we'll make it happen.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so that was a mouthful and also necessary.
Yes. All of the information.
All of the information. Again, check out our website. Everything is live. Everything is updated. Costs, times, dates, all the things. So hopefully you and reach out if you need more clarification or need more information. With that said, building bridges, shift, like our roles are two different things. We have these community trainings that are offered out to the greater community, thinking that individuals will opt in. We also work with staff of organizations and nonprofits, and so that is still also always on the table. If you are looking for long-term support, pass it to you, Nikki.
Yeah, for sure. We work with all kinds of different organizations who are looking to do some DEI development, some racial equity, racial justice work. What we call it is culture shifting, right? And so if you are a part of an organization, you lead an organization that is ready to do some culture shifting, please reach out to us. We provide a lot of similar workshops, and obviously, depending on the length of the contract and the depth and all of this different sort of components that we can put together, it's just an opportunity to focus in on either your whole staff or a portion of your staff. We've worked with leadership, we've worked with board, we've worked with different departments, different programs, so we're happy to have a conversation with y'all about what your needs are and how we could potentially work with y'all to do some of that culture shifting. So our interest form, for that, we collect just some preliminary information just so that we can kind of get an idea of what your initial needs are and kind of get our minds going around it. And then we usually set up a screen call to ask some more questions, offer some more information, and then we usually go from there. So if you're interested, our interest form is on the website. Fill it out. We'll get an email and we'll get in touch with y'all. But it's been, we've worked with, several clients already, and it's been a very transformational process, and it can feel really hard, and it can feel maybe super uncomfortable for sure. But ultimately, I think it lifts a veil over a lot of sort of unsaid things and unchecked behaviors and uninterrupted patterns that need to be checked and interrupted. And so, we definitely provide additional coaching and consulting hours to kind of help leadership figure out, well, what do we do with this information now? We certainly work as much as we can to support organizations in their specific needs. So reach out, let us know if we can help support this culture shift that y'all are ready to do.
Yeah. And that's on our website. If you go to our shift page, it's at the bottom right now. There is a form to fill out. Shoot, and I just had a thought, and now it escaped me. What else I was going to say? Oh, and given, what we spoke about at the beginning, there's been this slow emergence of January slug into February. With that being said, we do have a little window here where we are, we're taking on calls and do have some space to bring on new folks. And so if that is you, please get that form in. As we are a small team and our capacity can only support so much at one time. So we're always navigating that as well. And so there is kind of an ebb and flow of when we're able to bring on new clients and when we're not. And right now we do have a little bit of space, so we would love to get on a call.
Yeah, definitely. Always get the information in sooner. We can always work out scheduling and whatnot as it fits for both of us. But yeah, we got some space now. So
okay. Those are the big announcements for Shift, or adult programming, the things that Nikki and I have our hands in.
Mm-hmm.
there are a couple other things that we want to make sure that you all are aware of. If you're not on our newsletter, please get in our newsletter. That has the most up-to-date work or information around community trainings, around our availability to work with clients, and also some of the bigger themes that Building Bridges has been through has been navigating our own culture building and organizational build and like how we exist. And so what some of you have seen that Megan is moved out of her role, and now we are on the search. We are on the search for 2 different executive director positions. And those are still open and available. We're ongoing right now until filled. And so we just want to share that is still open to apply for. There are 2 different positions.
Yeah, so one of them is more focused on our strategy and programs, and the other ED position is more focused on our development, fundraising, and there's definitely overlap over both of the positions, and then each of them kind of have some of their own individual tasks as well. But yeah, I mean, I would say we are I don't know if every organization thinks this, but like I feel like we're a very unique organization. I'm sure everybody says that about their organization. We're a very unique organization. In that I think we thrive on working outside of the box and thinking outside of the box, and I mean we're obviously an organization that highly values racial equity and dismantling systems of oppression that have kept, typically marginalized communities out of positions like this, right? So people who identify as BIPOC, people who identify as queer, people who identify as female, people who identify as disabled, all different kinds of identities that most often you don't typically find in an ED, in a leadership role, because of those systems of oppression. And so we are we obviously value anyone that is interested in taking on a role like this, and we want to take the time to meet and get to know everyone who is interested in this role. And we're really looking for folks who are about this work, unapologetically, because we've got an amazing team of people who are all about this work unapologetically. So yeah, I'm excited to get some folks.
Yeah, for those of you who don't, like, the last year and a half, 2 years, like everyone, we've been navigating the world. And like when we were shut down, it was a matter of like, can we exist online? Can we keep going? And we then have these community trainings that we offer online, which have been a really incredible thing to create and put out in the world. And then build up the work, like offering this in various forms, whether it's these trainings or with clients, and creating spaces for adults, because young adults was the focus for the longest time, and now these programs exist at the same time, and are just helping us reach and be a part of and support in the work that we want to do in such a bigger level. Like, to be online now actually has opened up a lot, at least on the adult programming, of working with folks from across the country, not just in the Denver, Colorado area. And so with that said, we have always been a very small organization, but we have slowly been able to grow with staff, and we just so much want to be able to grow staff in order to continue to impact more and more folks. And so we're looking for leaders and executive directors who are about the work, and who are about like we've been messily like digging and, just like trying to stay going. And so we're looking for folks who are willing to like be in that with us.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, not to say that we have all the answers, because we definitely don't. And neither will anybody who occupies an executive director role. But we certainly, yeah, are hoping for folks who are willing and interested in doing the search for those
Yep.
answers, to doing the wrestling
Yep.
for clarity.
So that information is also on our website. There's a link that says, or there's something on the website that says join our team. So there's more information there. So please know that that's still open and available, and we're still taking applications. There was one more thing.
Yeah, we are also in the process of recruiting new board members. And we are hoping to schedule a time. I think we're still working out a date for that, but scheduling like a meet and greet kind of opportunity for any prospective board members to have a chance to meet some of our staff, some of our current board members, just to kind of, ask questions, get to know Building Bridges a little bit more. But that might be another way for you to be involved if you're interested in maybe a job. An employment opportunity is not the right avenue for you, but maybe being a board member, and helping kind of do all those same things in a different capacity. Yeah. So stay tuned for the meet and greet date for that.
Yeah, friends. All right, that was a lot. And also, I don't know, lean into like, we want you to have all the information. And sometimes a newsletter and a social media post is not enough. Although this is its own social media post, I guess. But
you can see that we're real humans.
And we really mean it.
We really mean it.
We really want you to come to our trainings. We really want to work with you. We're really looking forward to just big next steps and growth at Building Bridges as a team, as a cooperative, as just trying to do some amazing good and work in this world. And so there's some continued hiring options, but also, we do just need folks who know and believe and want to be in it with us as board members as well. So all the things.
Lots of ways to get involved with Building Bridges. So we hope to see lots of people coming in.
I will put links on this Facebook post. This video will be on YouTube. There will be another newsletter coming out with just kind of a reiteration of all this information. But please go to our website. There's lots of ways to get in contact with our board members if you have questions, or with us if you have any questions, or but otherwise, we look forward to maybe seeing you on February 17th, Confluence Care or Groundwork.
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
I think that's plenty.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, not sorry. And
how about
bring a friend with you too.
Yes. An emotion word for a checkout?
Yeah. I'm feeling excited. I don't know. Now that we've kind of named all of the things going on, there's a lot of really awesome opportunities happening at Building Bridges, and a lot of growth, a lot of development, a lot of just
puzzle pieces.
Yeah, but it's all like, it's all good. It's all positive. It's all like healthy. It's good. So I'm excited.
Where do you feel it?
In my heart. Is that
Mm.
cheesy? But it's like really like in my, yeah, like my heart is happy.
I love that.
What about you, Myron?
I also feel the excitement, but I feel it in my belly. I feel it's like it's belly excited butterflies.
Yeah.
um and yeah, I just like I'm standing, I got my feet in the ground, so just but in like a yeah, in a grounded excited way. So
Yeah.
we got a lot of folks asking how can we be a part of it. These are it.
This
Looking
is
forward
the
to being
way.
a community. Yeah. All right, y'all. Happy Friday. If you're seeing this on Friday, happy day whenever you see this.
Stay warm, stay
Take
healthy.
care of yourself. Remember, just a next right step. Drink your water. Get some sustenance.
Get some
Resource yourself.
sunlight.
Yeah. Take care of you, you beautiful human. And we
Yes,
will see you next time.
indeed. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, y'all. How do I stop here?